Yeah, thanks for being here. It was a good week. I thought we played for the most part the way we're capable of playing. I kind of saw this. I saw some determination last Saturday when we were actually losing the game. I made the comment. I found out a lot about my team that day, and so Tuesday and Wednesday with Grambling and Alcorn. Roark gets his first career win there. I thought he was pretty good. It was long offensive innings, so I think that's where he can evolve and mature. Those long innings, staying ready. He went back out there in the fifth, and we made the change there. But it was fine. He learned from it, and he did a really good job. I really like what he can be on the mound. His physicality, his durability. Just his. He's a tough player. He really is. And so you got to see Cannon Clayton come in. I thought that was exceptional. He strikes out the side, his first outing back, coming back from injury. And you can see why those first 2 weekends, the first 2 weeks of the season, his absence was noticeable. And he can be a force for us, really good. 16 hits, that's what I expect right there. I thought the offense was locked in, ready to go, played to a high standard. Obviously, the Micah Dean concussion, hurts a little bit, but I like how nothing was. We didn't let off the pedal. The next guy up in the lineup, the offense didn't really miss a beat. So we're working to get him back. Might see him back at the end of the week because he's a really good player and a really special talent. And so he's going through concussion protocol. Like I said, not going to rush him back, but hope to have him back soon. Then Seaver, another good outing, 5 innings pitched against Alcorn, and that's what he's capable of doing. It's nothing overpowering, but he can flood the strike zone. He's been really good at his prep work, very professional, really proud of Seaver, continues to build trust, and we want to use him again these next 2 days as we get going. You saw Cooper come in on the back end, and again, I thought the offense did a really good job of starting fast and early and doing exactly what they should do. And so you move into Friday against Western Illinois, and what I really liked about Friday was the fast start from the offense. Mosey works a 3-2 count and just a really good 2-strike approach, hits the ground rule double down the right field line, and then right away Blazer, the base hit up the middle, 2 swings right there, you're up 1-0. And that's what we want, a 4-run first. Lewis gets the double, and Ray gets the sacrifice fly. I think really good offenses, a number that sticks out a lot when you kind of go across the board and look at it is sacrifice flies, and that's what we continue to put ourselves in that position. And that starts, sometimes before the AB. We worked on leading into the series, getting from first to third on line drive reads or ground balls through the infield. How can we get to third base with 1 out? And it just changes the dynamic of those ABs in those situations. And so I hope that's a trend that continues. You saw what we did, mixing up the rotation, moving Broadnax to Friday night, and that's what you're going to get. Wasn't super sharp, but you're going to get the competitor every single night. And I thought he did a really good job. And then Dabbs and Tubbs on the backside coming in and doing their job, really. Dabbs started executing pitches, working down in the zone, and he was getting swings and misses. And so that's what he can be. He needs to continue to grow, continue to get stronger. And obviously, Tubbs, I want to have a lot of appearances for him. So that was good right there. Landry and Ray had the home runs. So it was good. It was a good Friday night win to jump out fast, ready to go. And so we talked about, the next day they're probably going to throw a punch. I thought they did. Corley wasn't super sharp, but what I really liked about Corley's outing was, he went out there to the 5th inning and threw a 0 when we needed it, okay? And so I really didn't like the energy or the start of the game. I thought we were leaving some runs on the table. I thought we had a really bad strikeout with a runner at second and third, less than 2 early. And so, I just thought that we were leaving runs out there, and we had a nice little meeting there about the middle of the 4th inning, and I thought the guys responded nicely. And so what an atmosphere Saturday night. We talk about that. The fans, it was a packed house. It was loud. The game wasn't on ESPN Plus that day, but I had a lot of text messages after the game on the radio call, just, how loud the stadium was, and that's what we're trying to build. That's what we want. We had the students out there and left. Both lines were full. You saw the grilled smoke coming across the field. It just kind of set the scene for a magical moment there with Haggard and the 3-run homer busting the game open. I thought that was clutch. I thought it was a tough AB. Really proud. And he had a double earlier in the game, so really good week for Jake Haggard. I want him to continue to stay humble, stay hungry. He retooled his swing, retooled his approach. Coach Lartigue and Coach Schatzberger have done an exceptional job with him, and he's just even when things don't go his way, I'm just so proud of how he's carrying himself, and he's got to continue doing it. But I'm really proud of Jake, of what he's doing with his career. He's taking control of it. So happy for him. You saw Clayton come in again, really good. He's just flooding the strike zone, multiple pitches. I really like his presence and tempo. He is a big physical body, and he looks good out there. And then you saw Hess come in at the end. That's the role I really like Hess in, man. It's when he takes the mound, there is a huge sense of trust in that dugout. And that's all a pitcher can ask for, relative to a compliment to what type of player he is. He's going to get in there and get it done. He's going to compete with multiple pitches. So, Hess and Clayton, they bring that element out of the pen. Clayton has really good stuff, and then Hess is the veteran in that role, calm and collected. So really glad to see that. And then yesterday, super long game. We talked about finishing the week, but I didn't want to tie it so much into finishing the week, relative to just or versus just being in the moment. Okay, let's just finish tomorrow. That's what we talked about Saturday night. And we did. JC wasn't super sharp, only got us 3 innings, but I really liked the determination. When I handed that ball to Roark out of the pen, you could just see it in his eye. He was going to go out there and fight for us, and a quick turnaround for him. But that's kudos to his physicality and him taking care of himself. In really good shape, can bounce back quickly. Was proud of him. Tubbs came in, gets him a W. And he was fine, but I thought the most exciting part was Skerich getting back in there, and you can see exactly what he can be. We challenged him a little bit. He was great in his prep work all week. Coach Cox and the pitchers, I thought their focus, their drive to improve was really good to see, just in the bullpen and their catch play. These guys are working to get better, and they're going to. And so really proud of that. Haggard and Ray combining for 6 hits. It was a good, gritty Sunday win. Wasn't pretty, but, sometimes, like I told the team after the game, never going to complain about winning. There's a lot of teams in the same position yesterday trying to finish a sweep, and they didn't. And so, kudos to a really good week. I thought Blazer was really good in the box. Had a punch out early that, he knows the strike zone, okay, and he doesn't strike out. And so I just thought, he was the one of my favorite ABs of the day was the 3-0 green light there late. And he looked quickly to get it, and I gave it to him, and he puts a really good swing on a ball and gets an RBI, a 2-out RBI. I really like that. He's a veteran. He's been exceptional. Just really good ABs. And then Weethorn with the 3 hits, And so overall, I thought for the week, the offense, for the most part, we were playing to the standard that we want to play, but still we have to, we can get better. Obviously, once this weekend, a Friday night guy, and tomorrow, and as league play starts, we're going to face some really good arms, okay? And so it's going to get tougher to hit, and the standard needs to be, like, we have got to eliminate the throwaway AB in the middle of the innings, and we talked about that as a group yesterday before the game. I thought that first reliever on Saturday night, I thought we were having really productive lineouts there. Like, we had some loud outs. But what sticks out a little bit is just the uncompetitive strikeout on the balls bouncing right there in the middle of it, and that's what we got to eliminate. And our guys have to understand, and I've made this very clear, if you're consistently swinging at balls, you're not going to play every day. You're not. It's just we have a high standard of our swing decisions and pitch recognition and getting the ball closer to us. I want to slug, okay? And if you're swinging at stuff all over the place, it's not going to happen. I want doubles and homers. And, sometimes your season is defined by the pitches you don't swing at, all right? I heard a really good coach say that one time. And so I would like our our swing decisions and pitch selection to continue to get better. But, we talked about before the game, if you have a high standard on offense, you've got to talk about that stuff all the time. How do you stay up right here with the standard of what you want to do and be really tough outs? Terry Davis, the head coach of Western Illinois, was very complimentary of the hitters, and just, man, it was relentless. Like, you were disciplined with 2 strikes. Your guys are hard-nosed. They don't move out of the way of the pitches. That's what I want coaches to say about us after a game. So, happy for that, happy in that regard. Got to continue to get better, turn our attention to southeastern Louisiana. It's a really good program. It's a baseball school, okay, and it starts at the top with the athletic director, J.R. Teagues, and there's alignment all the way through that athletic department, all the way down to the bottom. It's a really good job. Bobby does a really good job. They're going to pitch. They're going to execute pitches. The standard there is regionals, okay, the NCAA postseason. So I think it'll be a really good midweek series for us, for them coming in here. They're going to play hard. It'll be good for us. 18 innings, okay, over 2 days. So again, we're going to have guys. We're going to have to use arms. I like this. This is our last double midweek of the year, okay, and so great opportunity for some guys to get in there and get their innings and attack hitters and just be efficient. I want to flood the strike zone. I want to execute 2-strike pitches. And so great opportunity for us. And then obviously another road trip on the weekend going to Arlington. So, the final 2 games of the homestand, I encourage the city to come out here. You're going to watch good baseball the next 2 days. 2 really good teams going at it. And we'll be ready to go and hopefully put out a good product on the field for everyone to see.
Coach, obviously, right now, 6-game win streak, but also 5 straight of double-digit runs. Last few games against Western Illinois, it seemed like the offense took a little bit, but eventually kind of found a way to broke through. As far as you continue on with this last week of non-conference going to conference play, how important is it to see from your offense, late in the games, continue to figure stuff out against new pitchers, also continue to hit with 2 outs and 2 strikes?
Yeah, I mean it's big. There's just a high standard for what we want to do on offense, and we really don't. We don't let off the pedal on our prep work. And Coach Lartigue is in the cages, constantly working the 2-strike approach and what we're doing. And Schatzberger's out here, and I'm out here on these guys, and even Coach Cox. Like it's we all kind of have our hand in on this thing, and I think there's buy-in from the players, and they have to. We got to get to the point to where they're just talking about the standard constantly. They're policing each other of what we're doing. And so I thought when we're bad is when our fastball timing gets off. Okay, so we need to do a better job of recognizing that in a game or a couple ABs. Be better on deck. Be better with when we're in the dugout waiting for our AB. Your AB can start 8 batters away. It really can. And so. But no, it's just I like what we did, damaging mistakes over the course of the week. That's what we want to do. We don't want to swing at balls, and we want to damage mistakes, and we want to be relentless with 2 strikes. And so we're showing signs of it, and we got to keep going. It's a tough game. There might be a point to where we're gonna have to figure out how to win a 1-0 game, or a 2-1 game, or a 3-2 game. Okay, and so we just got to stay on the course and continue to do what we do daily, and ironing this thing out. It's a tough game. You got to keep going, and right now I think guys are balancing out all these games. Like yesterday on Sunday, I thought a couple guys, I thought we were swinging slow and moving slow. So, how do you stay professional? How do you utilize this off day? Are you putting the right stuff in your body? Okay, are you getting a really good lift in? Are you getting a really good night's sleep? That's where this separates good offenses and great offenses, I think, or moments like that, how you're handling yourself as a professional and taking over your career. It's very important.
Now, Coach, I know that it hasn't quite been a month yet of baseball, but in the preseason, you talk about this freshman class and giving them opportunities early on. You think about this past week, several different pitchers getting in there and giving you quality innings. A guy like Dane Ray, who homers in every game this weekend versus Western Illinois. How impressive have you seen this group continue to develop very early on in their tenures with your team?
Yeah, it was good. Well, you said it. Like I wanted to get those guys in there. Once you get really going in this thing past, I don't know, October, I don't even look at class anymore. I just think young player, let's get him in, let's go. And so, really proud of Dane Ray. And all these guys really in the fall, early, it was kind of fast for them. Okay, and just this part of, I think there's 7 of them, 9 of them, whatever it is. Most of them are still in the development phase of their career. Okay, but I want to get them in there and get this. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Moving forward, when we bring there's no hey, he's going to come here in red shirt. You're coming here because you can play, okay? And so Dane Ray I really like his motor. He likes being coached. He likes being challenged. He really does. And so really good week, and he just, it's not like super great bat speed. I think what he has is he's a competitor, and his fastball timing is really good, and he gets a good pitch to hit every single time. Okay, and so even his outs this week were impressive. So really proud of him. He's versatile on the infield. You saw Gavin Price get in there, get his first career hit yesterday. Sutton Lewis is a redshirt freshman. He's just got to get more discipline in the box as far as his pitch selection. Travis Adams, I really like him being available to run, and he loves ULM. He bleeds this place, and so you saw what you got out of Broadnax on Friday night. Like he's going to be a competitor. Same with Roark, and Roark can hit, man. He's just we really like him on the mound right now, and so that time will come when it presents itself. But I'm leaving guys out. But that's been a really good group. I really care about them. I really care about their development. They show up every single day, and the maturation process, just observing from this. I'm proud of those guys, but we got to continue to go. You never know when your name's gonna be called to get. I sent Gavin Price a text yesterday morning, like, you're starting today. Okay, and if you do anything passive, you're coming out. Okay, and you saw him get in there and get his swing off a couple times. So he's going to continue to grow. Other guys are going to get their opportunity. But, to answer your question, yeah, I really like that group. And they're going to be a big piece of us moving forward.
Coach, the importance of getting in the bullpen early Friday, learning how to win a series and then sweep a series. Just how important was it to get in the bullpen early Friday and Saturday this week?
Yeah, I liked it. I talked about the Friday, the really fast start. That was great to see. I think it was a 4 spot. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. There on Friday, but those, as these series, as we move into league play, it's going to be a race to the bullpen on Friday night. Okay, and so really good. I thought our guys did a really good job of, right away when there's an arm change. I think we're really organized in the dugout, presenting the plan to the hitters. The left-handed hitters know exactly what they need to do. The right-handed hitters know exactly what they need to do. There's nothing really overcomplicating it, and across the board, I think we have an approach that covers all different shapes and different types of arms you're going to face, but just simple. We don't really overcomplicate anything. It all comes down to what type of pitch we're getting, something closer to us, something that, we can hit in the gap or over the fence. That's what we want to do, and eliminate chasing balls. And so really good. That's how you win a series, I think, is getting that first arm out there, get that pin moving early on Friday night. Obviously, we want the guy, our goal is to get the starter out of the game before the start of the 6th inning. And so, just a really good job of we saw different shapes and different things this weekend. And so I like the adaptability through games. Sometimes so I can think to some offenses in my career, we have a really good game plan for the starter, okay, and then, the relievers come in and we don't do a really good job of adjusting. I think this group so far into the season has done a pretty good job of that. So to answer your question, yes, very important. Our guys understand that, if you can get into that pen early on Friday night, it shuffles a lot of things around for the other team. So, yeah, we're doing a good job there. I got to keep going. That's it. Nothing. I just want to thank the fans. I want to thank the fans. Again, Saturday night was electric. We want to continue to do this. Get people here. Bring someone next time. We have the RV club. I think we've had 4 or 5 campers out there. So, it's Monroe. Come watch us. Northeast Louisiana. Come watch us. We need you in the ballpark. The next 2 days will be a lot of good baseball. So, thank you for all your support.